The Ballon d'Or is widely considered the most prestigious individual award in all of world football, and like any global ceremony, this accolade has invited its fair share of controversy. Despite amassing 52 goals and 53 appearances across all competitions last season, and capping off the year by winning English football's first continental treble since 1998, Norwegian Erling Haaland finished second in Ballon d'Or voting behind Lionel Messi, as the 35-year-old Argentine was awarded his 8th Ballon d'Or for dragging Argentina to World Cup glory last winter. And while Messi's win should hardly be considered a robbery, it's nonetheless generated plenty of public outcry, which got us thinking, who are the most controversial Ballon d'Or winners of all time? Now, the Ballon d'Or has been synonymous with controversy since its inception. From 1956 to 1994, the only players eligible to win the award were Europeans playing for European clubs. This meant that Pelé's dominance with Brazil and Santos in the 60s and 70s were completely ignored, in addition to Diego Maradona's superhuman feats with Argentina and Napoli in the 1980s. It wasn't until 1995 that the Ballon d'Or allowed all of world football to participate, resulting in George Weah becoming the first non-European to win the award that same year. France Football would further correct its previous European bias in 2016 with Le Nouveau Palmarès, a re-evaluation of the awards presented before 1995, in which Pelé, Garrincha, Diego Maradona, Mario Kempes, and Romario were all given Ballon d'Ors retroactively. France Football left the original winners of those years untouched and therefore seemed to cleanly correct past wrongs. But the introduction of other continents did little to reduce future controversy, given that a 19-year-old Ronaldo Nazario would score 47 goals for Barcelona across all competitions in 1996, but would lose the Ballon d'Or to defender/midfielder Matthias Sammer. While the German was an integral part of helping his nation win the Euros and even lifted the Champions League trophy with Borussia Dortmund that season, it's difficult to argue that the defender was a better individual player than R9, a sentiment that's popularity illustrates the paradoxical nature of attempting to highlight individual success by the merits of a team sport. A much more recent example of a midfielder to benefit from the success of their national team and club side was Luka Modric in 2018. The Croatian genius was awarded the Ballon d'Or for leading his country to the World Cup final as well as winning the Champions League. And while Luka was one of the best midfielders of his entire generation, it seems rather ambivalent to suggest he was a better individual footballer than his teammate Cristiano Ronaldo, who scored 44 goals in 44 appearances that season en route to his 5th Champions League victory. Dutch playmaker Wesley Sneijder and French wizard Franck Ribéry wouldn't be as lucky as Luka, however, as both of their treble-winning efforts for Inter Milan and Bayern Munich respectively weren't enough to release Messi and Ronaldo's chokehold on the trophy during the 2010s. But the unluckiest player of the modern era is undoubtedly Robert Lewandowski. The Polish striker scored 55 goals in 47 games across all competitions in the 2019-2020 season, and was the best player on Bayern Munich's treble-winning team. Which should have been a unanimous Ballon d'Or victory for Lewa turned into a global fiasco, as France Football decided to cancel the award ceremony entirely in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. Commenting on this betrayal during his 7th Ballon d'Or acceptance speech a year after, Lionel Messi said the following: "Robert, you deserve the Ballon d'Or. Last year, everyone was in agreement. Hopefully, France Football will give you the 2020 Ballon d'Or. We all believe you deserved it, and I hope you can have it at home." But France Football did no such thing, and the trophy still eludes Lewandowski to this day. And on the subject of strikers who have never won the Ballon d'Or, perhaps the most prolific and universally praised footballer on that list is Thierry Henry. Considered by many as the finest footballer to ever grace the Premier League, the young Frenchman began making his mark at Arsenal in 1999. By 2002, the left-forward phenom was undeniably world-class, but his best individual season arguably came in 2003, when Thierry amassed a staggering 24 goals and 20 assists in the Premier League, becoming the first player in the history of Europe's top 5 leagues to register 20-plus goals and 20-plus assists domestically, a feat that has only been replicated once in the last 20 years by the likes of Lionel Messi. Henry's ridiculous attacking output, in addition to his frightening pace and dribbling ability, made him a favorite for the Ballon d'Or. But failing to win the Premier League that season and being knocked out of the Champions League meant that Henry would come in 2nd place in that year's vote, famously losing the Ballon d'Or to Juventus midfielder Pavel Nedved. The Czech maestro had won the Serie A with the old lady that season and was instrumental in Juve's run to the Champions League final. And although they would lose to Milan, the all-Italian final allows us to appreciate relevant context. context. In 2003, the Serie A was understood to be the best league in the world, not the Premier League. So while Pavel's numbers appear pedestrian compared to Thierry's on the surface, the strength of Italian football allowed them to carry much more weight. And this would prove to be the case once again in 2004, as Thierry's 30-goal campaign with the legendary Invincibles was overshadowed by Andrei Shevchenko winning the Scudetto as Milan's top goalscorer, with Portuguese playmaker Deco finishing second in voting that season, followed by Barcelona's Ronaldinho, with Henry stunningly coming in fourth. And while it's easy to toss up Henry's rankings to bad luck or blatant bias, the truth is probably much less malicious. The era before Messi and Ronaldo was much less stat-driven and more influenced by impact, not just on the domestic stage but the European and international stage in particular, an outlook that allowed Fabio Cannavaro to win the Ballon d'Or in 2006 despite being a defender, as his World Cup victory with Italy seemed to demand recognition, even if the individual abilities of someone like Ronaldinho were obviously superior. Cannavaro joined Matthias Sammer and Franz Beckenbauer as the only defenders to ever win the award, and as of today, Dinamo Moscow's Lev Yashin is still the only goalkeeper to ever hoist the prestigious trophy. Now, it's too early to tell who the front runners for the 2024 Ballon d'Or will be, but one thing we can guarantee is that regardless of who winds up winning, controversy will always be generated at the Ballon d'Or ceremony one way or another. If you liked today's video, go ahead and watch another. As always, I'm Andy, first team all sideline.